There we go.
Okay. So now we're ready. No, you haven't enlarged. It's the one right next to the sliding thing. So you have to say got it.
Oh,
You have to push got it.
I did. And
This thing here wants.
Yeah, that's the one. You push that, it should make your screen full screen. No, on the other side, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
First, yep, that one.
oh, very good.
And then you have to say, you have to push got, oh, so it's just on mine. Okay, now we're ready.
Yay.
Okay, so this is the, we already had started covering sexual activity last week. So we'll go to the next slide. We're in the middle of it. So you can, next slide.
Oh, next slide. Go.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to say next after this.
Okay, and I'll try and proceed.
Okay, Terry, can you read?
Yes.
Let's see. Wait a minute. We're gonna try to read both English and Chinese tonight. So, Alan Huang, can you read the Chinese and then Terry the English?
Okay.
Alan Huang, you can't hear me? Yihuan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, 持法师.
Okay, so you read Chinese and Terry will read the English.
Got it. 能到如如不动的境界，是不会到处对人说的，到处宣说我无淫心，到处登广告，那是靠不住的。
They, people who have severed sexual desire, would remain in a state of unmoving suchness. They would not go about telling people, I don't have sexual thoughts. That wouldn't work.
以前有一修道者求师父印证已得开悟，师父问他：“你开什么悟？”他说：“我现在才知道师姑是女人。”师父用佛眼观察，是真开悟，就给他印证。
In the past, there was a cultivator who asked our master to verify that the cultivator was awakened. The master said to him, "What awakening have you had?" He said, "I now know that my aunt is a woman." The master regarded him with his Buddha eye and saw that that person had truly, and I can't see what it said, certified, had truly something, so he certified him.
I can't move it. Oh, there.
They are truly awakened, so he certified him.
Oops. All right, next.
Next.
如以淫身求佛妙果，纵得妙悟，皆是淫根。
In seeking the wondrous enlightenment of the Buddha while you still have sexual desire, you may gain some understanding of that wondrous enlightenment, but that understanding will be rooted in sexual desire.
Next.
若是以淫欲之身，要求证得妙觉佛果，纵然得到微妙的开悟，亦只是从淫根所发之淫欲种子。
If the body still harbors sexual desire, but the person seeks to be certified as having realized the wonderful awakening of Buddhahood, then even if the person has a subtly fine awakening, It is only the sexual root sprouting a sexual desire's seed.
根本成淫，轮转三途，必不能出。如来涅盘，何路修正？
If the basis of your understanding is sexual desire, you will continually be reborn among the three lowly destinies, bound to the cycle of death and rebirth with no hope of escape. Then how will you find your way to practice and realization of the thus come one's nirvana?
根本已是淫欲，那一定会堕落三途。 地狱、畜生、恶鬼，轮转生死不能出离。这时候人生尚不可得，试问从哪一条路来修正如来妙果？
Basically, sexual desire is still present, and the person will definitely fall into the three evil paths, the hells, the hungry ghosts, or the animals, and will continually undergo the cycle of rebirths without being able to escape. At that point, attaining a human body is no longer possible. How could anyone possibly cultivate and attain the wondrous fruition of the thus come one?
畜生、地狱、
Animal realm and the hells.
必使淫机生心俱断，断性亦无，于佛菩提斯可积极。
You must purge yourself of the most subtle promptings of sexual desire, both physical and mental, to the point that you have purged even the act of purging. Then there will be hope that you may realize the full awakening of the Buddhas.
必定要连淫机及最维系的淫，及最维系之淫念，以及无明都断了。这时清净无染，一念不生，身和心都断除，连断性、断影都没有。就如习机归寂然，诸幻成无性，这样。 才有希望证到无上觉道。
And so, the sexual process must be abandoned. That means that even the subtlest sexual thoughts, even ignorance itself, must be severed. At that point, not a single thought will arise. Physical and mental processes will be severed until even the severing of the nature and appearance of things is itself severed. Systems cease, a return to tranquility occurs, and the mysterious is devoid of a nature. Only then is there hope that the unsurpassed way to awakening can be realized.
如我此说，名为佛说；不如此说，即波形说。
What I have said is what the Buddhists teach. Mara, the evil one, teaches otherwise.
Okay, one more slide.
We can hear you now. 是吧？是。
I won't talk.
Yeah, so you're on the computer. You're on.
It seems I can't talk.
Yes, you can.
Did you turn me off?
No, you're
We've hung up the phone
Don't get
because
this.
you're on Zoom.
Okay.
She's on room already, and we can hear her. No,
so we
on
don't
Zoom.
need the phone
Don't
anymore.
really know.
Okay.
No phone anymore.
Okay.
Okay, next.
I can't hear them.
You can go ahead, 池法师.
Why can't I hear them? Okay, turn the volume up. Hold on.
They said they can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, we were there.
So you're not hearing us now?
I don't know.
Can they hear you?
I can't hear them. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay. This is Alan. Can you hear him, Chair? No.
Should I call
Oh,
it back?
he can hear me. Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
I can't hear Terry and Alan.
Huh.
Oh, because I was hearing them here. You have to call Terry and Alan.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, I'll call again.
Who's connected? Why can't you hear it on there? Okay.
I don't know.
Terry's
If I-
calling you
But they
again.
can hear you, so when you call them, then it makes an echo because it goes back and forth. So we gotta hang one of them up. Maybe just
Okay,
mute
so I'm,
All right, thank you.
And
I will.
the phone
the
off.
laptop. The
Keep the
laptop.
laptop. Keep the laptop. Laptop
can
is
you
fine.
hear me now?
Okay.
Okay, Terry?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, so I've got the phone on, but it causes an echo is the only
Yeah,
problem.
well, I'm gonna mute when, I think we figured out what to do. If I,
Okay, but I should keep the phone on.
Put it on mute.
yeah, we should keep the phone on. Let me try.
Okay, Alan says I should put it on mute. Can you
Yeah,
still
that's
hear
right.
me? Can you hear me?
I don't think you need
Yeah,
any more.
unmute. Okay. Okay,
You don't have it on speaker, so there's no echo.
okay, that makes sense.
But we can't hear her.
But now they're not hearing you on the computer. Oh, I see. We're on Demon Mara and followers and the picture of the Danbula caves in Sri Lanka. Okay. Okay, so do you want me to continue or how about Barbara and Ernie?
Okay, Barbara and Ernie, are you up?
Oh, I got to mute so you can unmute.
Yes, we're here. We can't do the Chinese though.
Barbara and Ernie?
We're
I
here.
can speak Chinese.
Hmm, I don't know what's
Aaron
happening.
can speak Chinese.
Okay, so let me start. 是种清净明慧，照我这样说，才是佛说；不照我这样说，就是魔王说。
To accord with what I say is to accord with what the Buddhas say. By not according with what I say, you listen to what the demon king says.
凡是能到这里来听楞严经的，不是聋子、哑子、瞎子，而都是有善根、有智慧，所以大家要把智慧眼睁开，分别摩佛之不同处，同时要用耳根来反闻文字性，不要再向外驰跑。这是我今天要对大家说的话。
Anyone who is able to come here and listen to the Shurangama Sutra is not deaf, mute, or blind. They are people with good roots who possess wisdom. For that reason, all of you should open your spiritual wisdom eye so that you can tell the difference between demons and Buddhas. At the same time, you should use your ear organ to turn the hearing inward to hear your own nature. Don't keep racing outside yourself. That's all I have to say to you today.
断杀
Okay, so now we come to severing killing, which is the second of the 4 decisive instructions on purity. So we see here various instruments of killing. Okay, so we can go to the next page and read Chinese and English, and I will mute myself.
阿难，又诸世界六道众生，其心不杀，则不随其生死相续。
Also, Ananda, in all worlds, beings in the 6 destinies whose minds are free of all desire to kill will not be bound to an unending cycle of deaths and rebirths.
阿难，又世界上六道的众生，天人、阿修罗、畜生、恶鬼、地狱，如果他们能不起杀心，就可以不随轮回流转，不随生死业报相续。
Ananda, also, if sentient beings in this world who are in the 6 paths of gods, humans, asuras, animals, hungry ghosts, and being in the hells can refrain from having thoughts of killing, then they can escape the cycle of rebirth and will not have to receive the retributions that result from committing killing karma.
如修三昧，本出尘劳，杀心不除，尘不可出。
No matter how much you may practice samadhi in order to transcend the stress of entanglement with perceived objects, you will never transcend that stress until you have freed yourself from thoughts of killing.
想修正定，本意是要超出尘劳。如果杀心不能除掉，就不能跳出尘劳。
In wanting to cultivate proper samadhi, the basic intent is to transcend the mundane realm. But if thoughts are killing are not abandoned, then mundane existence cannot be escaped. I think that should probably be thoughts of killing.
Yeah, that should be thoughts. Go on to the next page. Alan, let's have you and Iwan and Cynthia Chang rotate reading the English. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay?
OK，
纵有多智，禅定现前，如不断杀，必落神道。上品之人为大力鬼，中品则为飞行夜叉诸鬼帅等，下品当为地行罗刹。
Even very intelligent people who can enter samadhi while practicing meditation in stillness are certain to fall into the realm of ghosts and spirits upon their rebirth if they have not renounced all killing. The best among them will become ghosts of great power. Those at intermediate levels will become flying yakshas or leaders of ghostly hordes. Those at the lowest level will be rakshasas that travel along the ground.
纵然有多少智慧，指世间智慧，即世智变聪，修禅定有功夫，得到境界现前，但如不断杀业，必定堕落神道。
Even if a person has a fair amount of mundane intelligence, the ability to carry on mundane debates, skill in developing dhyana samadhi, and has experienced extraordinary states of being, if the person has not severed killing karma, then he will certainly fall into the realm of spirits.
So what's showing here, please leave this page, please. Please go back. Yes, thank you. And I guess somebody needs to translate me. So what's showing here is big game hunters who kill the really magnificent creatures of this earth. We're talking about somebody mundane like these people are, or somebody that's done a lot of meditating and can enter samadhi and even have states occur during his meditation. So anywhere from these mundane people you see here, all the way up to somebody who's really experienced, if they don't cut off killing karma, then they'll have to fall to the realm of spirits. When they meditate, if they don't cut off killing karma. So please give me a little bit of translation.
所以诸位这里所看到的照片呢，这些人呢，他们就是有参与像这种狩猎，就这种打猎的这种活动，像这样子的一种活动。像这些被杀的这些动物呢，都是很珍贵稀有的动物。像这样子的世间人呢，纵然他如果说有很多的禅坐，很多的打坐，然后即使呢有很多一些打坐的一些境界、一些体验，所以他们如果能够不把他们的杀业给断除，他们之后呢必定会投身到就是这种鬼神道。阿弥陀佛。
Two languages.
上品之人就成为大厉鬼，即是天行夜叉；中品为飞行夜叉，诸鬼神如山林城隍等；下品就为地行罗刹，即淡人精气的罗刹鬼。
At best, he will become a greatly powerful ghost, such as a yaksha, that can travel in the heavens. At mid-level, he will become a yaksha that can fly, or a ghost or spirit found in mountain forests and at city walls. At the lowest level, he will become an earth-traveling rakshasa, a ghost that eats people's vitality.
Okay, so we can see from this that the yaksha is a little bit higher birth than the rakshasa. Shurfi used to say that, or at least I came away with the idea that the rakshasas were female and the yakshas were male. So I guess the union of yakshas creates a rakshasa, a female yaksha, or else it creates a male yaksha, which would be a yaksha. So I think that's how it works. I think the yaksha is male and the rakshasa is female. Next slide. Oh, you can translate if you want.
像在刚才那一页呢，我们看到的就是有鬼神，有提到夜叉跟罗刹。像我在这里的我自己个人的感觉呢，之前听到的一些记录，罗刹很像是女的鬼神，然后夜叉呢是男的，然后夜叉的它的位阶稍微比罗刹高一点点，是这样子的一个情况。阿弥陀佛。
彼诸鬼神亦有途中，个个自谓成无上道。
These ghosts and spirits will attract groups of disciples, and they will tell them that they have realized the supreme enlightenment.
这般鬼神亦有很多徒众，大家都夸张自己已经成了无上道的果位。
These ghosts and spirits and their many followers all profess that they have already become enlightened and have realized the unsurpassed way.
我灭度后，末法之中，多此鬼神，至圣世间，自言食肉得菩提路。
After my nirvana, in the time of the Dharma's ending, these ghosts and spirits will spread like wildfire across the worlds as they make the claim that eating meat will not obstruct the path to enlightenment. I have instructed the monks that there are 5 situations in which eating meat will not compromise purity.
Okay, so stay on this page, please. And Alan Hong, translate for me. These 5 situations in which eating meat will not compromise purity, they'll be listed here in a minute. However, in the Lankavatara Sutra, the master said, the Buddha said, that those 5 situations also are kinds of meat we shouldn't eat. Now, in this sutra, he says he creates the meat. In that sutra, he says that he was expedient with the monks who still couldn't give up eating meat, but that in fact, we shouldn't eat any meat. So he doesn't say in the Lankavatara that meat isn't real. He just says monks shouldn't eat it. Okay, translate. 大概吧。
像诸位这里所看见的，在5种情况，佛说呢，如果食肉，它并不会就是算是断了菩提路。但是呢，在楞伽经也是佛说，佛陀呢
I can't hear anybody translating me. Does that mean?
Okay.
Yeah, it got translated.
Yeah. 在另一部经文呢，楞伽经也是佛说，佛有提到呢，因为出于善巧方便，要度化一些不能够断肉食的一些僧众，所以他就划线了一些肉食，这种划线的情况。所以呢，这2部经典呢有提到稍微不同，但是呢，在我们修行上呢，我们是不应该食肉。阿弥陀佛。
将来我灭度后，末法时期有很多这种鬼神，好像火一样的旺盛，充满世间。他们亦修道，但不能断杀，还对人夸说：食肉亦可开悟，可得菩提正路。好像一般人说，酒肉穿肠过，佛在心里头。这真是狂言、妖言、邪说惑也。
In the future, after I pass on, during the Dharma ending age, a tremendous number of ghosts and spirits will spread like wildfire, filling the world. They will also cultivate the way, but they will not stop killing, and will even say to people, you can also get enlightened if you eat meat. You can realize the proper path to Bodhi.
阿难， 我令比丘食五净肉，此肉皆我神力化身，本无命根。汝婆罗门地多真施，加以杀食，草菜不生。我以大悲神力所加，因大慈悲假名为肉，汝得其味，奈何如来灭度之后，食众生肉，名为世子。
Ananda, but even then I have used spiritual power to change the meat so that all traces of sentience have been removed. I have compassion also for those who wish to live purely, but who live among humid marshlands or in hot deserts where grains and vegetables cannot be grown. Out of great kindness and by means of my spiritual power, I change the meat they eat so that it is without sentience. It is merely called meat and merely tastes like meat. But after my nirvana, how will people who eat the flesh of beings deserve to be called disciples of Shakyamuni?
Okay, so that last sentence, please don't.
Yeah.
Please. That last sentence means that right now, when the Buddha was in the world, they thought they were eating meat, but it wasn't meat, and so they didn't reap killing karma. But this last sentence, the Buddha worries about it, says, after I'm gone, they'll still keep eating meat. And so then they really will be eating the flesh of other beings. How can we say that they are Buddhists? That's the last time. Can one of you translate for me?
像在这段经文呢所提到的，像当时佛陀在世的时候呢，因为这些肉呢是由佛陀化现，它是化身的肉，它并不是真正的就是众生的肉，所以当时佛陀在世的时候，他们食肉呢是有这种情况。可是呢，他这里提到，当佛陀灭度了之后，就是我们现在这个时候，当佛陀灭度之后呢，那这些修行人如果再继续的食肉，那他们就是食众生的肉了。那一个身为修行人还食众生肉，那怎么能够还说是佛子呢？阿弥陀佛。
阿难，众生肉是不可食的。我只是教出家人可以食点五净肉，即一不见杀，二不闻杀，三为我而杀，四自死肉，五鸟缠肉。这五种肉是我以神通之力化身。
Ananda, the flesh of sentient beings should not be eaten. I only taught monastics that they should eat 5 types of pure meat, which are defined as number 1, they didn't see it killed. 2, they didn't hear it killed. 3, it wasn't killed especially for them. 4, the flesh of someone who committed suicide. 5, the flesh that birds have pecked at. And even these 5 types, I used my spiritual powers to create their lives.
We can't hear you for some reason.
Okay, try it now.
Let's stay on the list for a minute. Could we go back
Go
to
back.
the list? Back
Okay.
page? Okay, so didn't see it killed, didn't hear it killed, wasn't killed for me, wasn't the flesh of somebody who committed suicide, or flesh that birds had picked at. We need to remember those. And this was an expedient, in the in the Shurangama. In the Lankavatara, he's no longer expedient. He says, forget about it. You shouldn't be eating any meat of any kind.
所以在楞严经这里呢，佛陀指的这五种五净肉呢，说修行人可以食用，但是虽然如此，这种五净肉也是佛陀的神力所化身，那是在这里楞严经所讲。可是，在楞伽经呢，佛陀说得很清楚，不管什么样的肉都是不能食，所以楞伽经就没有像这里的这样子的善巧方便，因为佛的神力所化现，所以楞伽经讲的是清清楚楚，不能食肉。
Originally, no life force existed, but because where you Brahmins live is a land where the climate is hot and dry and the environment is full of sand, so vegetables don't grow there. Even grass doesn't grow there. And so I used the strength of my great compassion to create 5 illusory types of pure meat so that you could eat those. What will happen after my nirvana when my disciples, uninformed of this, continue to eat the flesh of sentient beings? Can they still be called the disciples of Shakya?
学生问：佛既然戒杀，为何又用神力化五净肉，叫出家人得食？为何不化蔬菜或稻米等呢？上人，有人愿意回答这个问题吗？
A student asks, since the Buddha prohibited killing, why did he also use his spiritual powers to create 5 kinds of pure meat and say that his disciples could eat those? Why didn't he create vegetables or rice instead? The master asks, does anyone want to answer that question? Oops. Oh.
学生，经文上说，入婆罗门，地多真湿，加以杀食，草菜不生。大概是地理环境之限制，故佛陀变化肉而不化稻菜。不知这看法对吗？
Another student replies, a sutra says, you Brahmins, your land is arid and sandy, so grass and vegetables do not grow there. It is likely due to the limitations of the land that the Buddha transformed 5 types of flesh instead of transforming vegetables. I'm not sure my opinion is correct.
So I think this student is very clever. Since vegetables don't grow there well, that's the reason he created the meat. So that's the student's answer, and we'll see what Shifu has to say about it.
当人，佛陀既有大神力，在杀食之地化蔬菜稻米，亦是轻而易举之事，根本不受地理环境之限制。莫如说，佛很了解众生的心理，知道一般人喜欢吃肉，就算某些出家人要他立刻断晕吃素，他会感到吃大亏，舍不得肉味。
The master says, the Buddha has mighty spiritual powers. For him to transform vegetables growing in sandy, rocky ground is simple and easy. He's basically not limited by the geography of the environment. It might be more honest to answer, the Buddha really understands what's going on in the minds of sentient beings. He knows that most people like to eat meat. It's even hard for some monastics who were meat eaters to suddenly become vegetarian. they may feel like they are suffering and a great loss in giving up meat.
佛为顺从人情来接引这些人，先做一个方便，允许他们可以吃五净肉，并说明是佛力所化，没有命根。但在其他经论，如楞伽、大涅盘经等，都说得很清楚，为佛弟子不应吃众生肉，应断大慈悲种性，是修净恨的一个很大障道因缘。
The Buddha will go a long way with people's inclinations in order to bring them in. He first uses an expedient method, promising them that they will have 5 types of pure meat to eat, and even tells them that through the Buddha's power, they have been transformed so that they have no life force. But in other sutras, the Lankavatara, the Great Nirvana Sutra, and so forth, the Buddha told his disciples very clearly that they should not eat the flesh of sentient beings, because doing so will sever the seeds of great compassion and is a huge obstacle in trying to cultivate pure conduct.
I think that's clear now about the 5 types of pure meat. The Lankavatara is, the Buddha speaks very strictly there. We can go on to the next page.
各位对这一点应该彻底明白，不应借口说佛允许出家人吃五净肉，便可随便开斋破戒，即使曲解经义，大错而特错。
Everyone should be particularly aware of that. Don't look for excuses to break your vegetarian diet, saying that the Buddha agreed that monastics could eat 5 kinds of pure meat. That would blatantly misrepresent the sutra's intent, and thus a very serious mistake.
汝等当知，是食肉人，众得新开四三摩地，皆大罗刹，报中必成生死苦海，非佛弟子。如是之人，相杀相吞，相食未已，云何是人得出三界？
You should understand that these people who eat flesh may gain some modicum of mental awakening while practicing samadhi, but they are all great rakshasas who in the end must fall into the sea of death and rebirth. They are not disciples of the Buddha. Such people kill and devour each other, feeding on each other in an endless cycle. How could they possibly get out of the 3 realms?
Okay, we can continue.
你们应该知道，食肉的人，纵然得到新开，亦只是暂时警戒，似乎是有点定力，但这都是大罗刹之类。等到福报享尽，必定沉落在生死苦海中，不是佛的弟子。这样的人，既然互相杀害、互相食啖，没有了期，又怎么会跳出三界呢？
You should know that people who eat meat, even if their mind has awakened some, are only experiencing a temporary state. Although they may have a little bit of samadhi power, they are big rakshasas. When their positive blessings come to an end, they will certainly fall into the sea of births and deaths. They are not disciples of the Buddha, since such people mutually kill and harm each other and mutually eat each other without cease. How can they possibly escape the 3 realms?
So there are many reasons that Shifu talks to us about that keep us in rebirth. One of them is sexual desire. Another one is killing. In the Bodhisattva precepts, the killing precept comes first. In the precepts for monks and nuns, the sexual conduct precept comes first because the monastics need to remain pure. And for the bodhisattvas, they need to remain kind.
像上人在这里呢，他常常提到就是这种就是投生，就是这种情况。像在因为这种没有戒淫或戒杀，就是会不断的就是投生。在菩萨戒之中，戒杀呢是第一，可是，在出家戒呢，戒淫是第一。因为出家人呢，他必须要戒淫，可是修菩萨道呢，第一个是要修慈悲心。
We have to read this page.
儒教世人修三摩地，次断杀生，是名如来先佛世尊。第二决定清净明慧。
When you teach people in the world to practice samadhi, teach them to renounce all killing. That is the second of the clear and definitive instructions on purity that have been given by the Thus Come One and by all the Buddhas of the past world-honored ones.
你要教导修正定的人，一定要先断淫心，次断杀生。因食肉杀生就失去大悲种子，不能成佛。故戒杀是如来以及先世一切世尊第二个决定，一点不能改变的清净明白教诲。
Okay, so it's said that the Bodhisattva's precepts have always been spoken the same way by the Buddhas. Each Buddha, when he passes on precepts during his time here in the world, the Bodhisattva precepts are always the same. But what we see here is that this precept of prohibiting killing, he says, is placed first. Yeah, that's right. It's in the Bodhisattva precepts that killing comes first. And so he says, this Thus Come One, that would be Shakyamuni, but all the ones in the past, because in the Bodhisattva precepts, we learn that the Buddhas of the past have always spoken it, and the Buddhas of the future will always speak it. And maybe we took the Bodhisattva precepts in the past, which brings us back to the opportunity to take them in this life. Alan, dagai ba.
像在过去诸佛、现在诸佛跟未来诸佛呢，他们都讲菩萨戒，都讲一样的道理。所以在菩萨戒，第一是戒杀，然后在这里的话呢，他解释就是要先断淫心，次断戒杀，所以重点不太一样。不过以菩萨戒，像我们可能过去就有受过菩萨戒，所以到今生呢，我们继续有种这个善因，就继续来学习，然后又在听闻佛法，又继续在受菩萨戒。
I'll read the English for this page. You should guide those cultivating to gain proper samadhi that they must first sever sexual thoughts and next sever acts of killing. That is because eating flesh and taking life destroy the seeds of great compassion and prevent us from becoming Buddhas. Thus, the precept that prohibits killing is placed first by our Thus Come One and by all world-honored ones of the past. This is the second decisive instruction on purity, which cannot be changed in the least.
是故阿难，若不断杀，修禅定者，譬如有人自塞其耳，高声大叫，求人不闻，此等名为欲隐弥漏。
Therefore, Ananda, one who enters samadhi while practicing meditation in stillness without renouncing all killing is like one who hopes that nobody will hear him shout if he stops up his own ears. He's trying to conceal what is perfectly evident.
所以阿难啊，假如不断杀业而修禅定，等于自塞其耳，高声大叫，想要别人听不到，岂有这种道理？这正是掩耳盗铃、欲隐弥障而已。
Thus, Ananda, if a person does not sever killing karma and yet cultivates dhyana samadhi, he is like someone who plugs up his ears while he shouts and assumes no one can hear him. Isn't that ridiculous? It's a case of trying to hide the obvious.
清净比丘及诸菩萨，于其入行，不踏生草，况以手拔，云何大悲，取诸众生食肉血肉充食。
Bodhisattvas and pure monks walking in the country paths will not even tread on living grasses, much less uproot them. How then can it be compassionate to gorge on other beings' blood and flesh?
持戒清净之出家人及诸大菩萨，在分歧小路上往来，亦不愿意踩踏青草，何况用手去拔？为什么自称为大慈大悲的人，还要吃众生的血肉来滋养自己的身体呢？
Monastics who hold the precepts purely and all great bodhisattvas who travel on pathways do not like to trample the grasses. How much the more would they not want to pull the grasses up by their roots? How could someone say of himself that he possesses great kindness and great compassion and yet nourish his body by eating the blood and flesh of sentient beings? Hang on a second.
It's still on there.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can go on to the next page.
Momentarily there.
Good.
若诸比丘不服东方丝绵绢帛，即是此土靴履裘翠，如落醍醐。如是比丘，于是挣脱，筹还宿债，不由三界。
Monks who will not wear silks from the East, whether coarse or fine, who will not wear shoes or boots of leather, nor furs, nor birds down from our own country, and who will not consume milk, curds, or ghee, have truly freed themselves from the world. When they have paid their debts from previous lives, they will roam no longer through the three realms.
假如有诸出家人不穿东方中国之丝绸绢缎， 蚕丝所造之丝缎，及天竺国的皮靴、狐裘鸟毛、禽兽羽皮制之衣履，及不食乳酪醍醐，这些出家人士真正能解脱，既还清他们的宿债，不再浪荡三界了。
Suppose monastics do not wear silk produced by worms, leather boots or shoes, fur from foxes, feathers from birds, clothes containing feathers or skins from birds or animals, and suppose they do not eat various kinds of cheeses. Such monastics will truly be able to gain liberation and clear away their past lives' debts so that they need not linger any longer in the three realms. There's a research note at the bottom. Silk fibers are produced by silkworms when they spin themselves into a cocoon on their journey to becoming a silk moth. These ultra-soft fabrics are harvested from the cocoon in their raw state by being boiled in hot water, which still contains the silkworms, and stirred until the cocoons unravel.
Yes, okay, so now see, let's go back 2 pages.
One more.
One more. So now we see from the research note that the silkworms get boiled in the hot water that's going to make the silk. And then you can go to the next page and we'll take a look at all the examples that the text gave us. The picture page, please.
Yeah. Oh, it's wrong. There.
There we go. So we have feathers and cheeses, and in the bottom right is the little silkworm spitting out the silk fiber. But it's going to get killed when the silk fiber is boiled. So we have furs that people wear and feathers, cheeses that they eat. We have a crocodile handbag and we have leather boots. These are things that the richer a person is, the more they have of these. And at the same time, the more karma they're creating.
像在上一页我们看到呢，就是这些纺织商人在取丝绸的时候，他是把蚕的茧用热水煮过了之后呢，抽取它的丝绸，所以它的蚕蛹呢，蚕宝宝就在丝绸里面的处理过程中就被杀死了。所以在刚才的照片，你有看到有很多的一些毛衣什么像 Chih， 还有一些像鳄鱼皮所做的皮包，然后丝绸这些，像这些呢都是很贵有钱人所买的这些衣物。可是虽然因为如此呢，他们也种了很多的业。
Okay, next page. Oh, this page we haven't read yet.
乳酪醍醐应是牛乳之制品，不是杀害牛命，故戒律上没有完全禁止，但如能不食，那是更清净。
Milk curds or ghee are products of cows, but producing them does not kill the cows. Thus, in the Vinaya, those are not entirely prohibited, but those who refrain from consuming them will be even purer.
So this is a really interesting note. Could you go back to the page, please? That the cow isn't killed by taking its milk. It may suffer from the way the milk is force produced, so they have a lot of milk and their udders get really big. Anybody ever done what you see? Anybody ever milked a cow? I've milked a cow. I'm a farmer. Anyway, all these products you see, yogurt and cheese, cottage cheese, milk, all kinds of things like that are made from the milk of the cow. And so in the Shurangama, it says, if you were to cut off all of those products made from milk, that would be even better in terms of being able to finish up your karma in this life. Because if we consume them, then we are setting up a cause that we will have to repay. So if we don't consume them, then we're not setting up any new causes, and it's more likely that our causes will be finished sooner, and we won't have to be obstructed by these things that we eat. 大概Helen。
像这一段经文呢很有意思，因为像牛乳相关的制品呢，我们并不需要去杀牛。譬如说，我们在取它的牛乳，当然牛会强迫去制造这些牛乳，会稍微受一点苦，不过它并不会被杀。然后这里的话，像我以前是做农，所以我以前有取过牛乳，我知道。像因为牛乳的制品有包括像优格、cheese 这各式各样的牛乳产品，在楞严经这里提到呢，你如果能够戒，会更好，因为呢，你在取用这些食物的时候呢，你就跟它种了这些因，有了这些因之后呢，就会有业要去消，所以你能够提早戒除这些食物呢，你要去消这些业就更快。就能够更顺利。
何以故？夫其身分皆为彼缘，如人拾其地中百谷，足不离地，必使身心于诸众生落身身分，身心二途，不服不实。我说是人真解脱者。
Why? To wear parts of a being's body is to involve one's karma with that being, just as people have become bound to this earth by eating vegetables and grains. I can affirm that a person who neither eats the flesh of other beings, nor wears any part of the bodies of other beings, nor even thinks of eating or wearing those things, is a person who will gain liberation. Oops, wrong way.
什么缘故呢？因为穿着畜生的皮毛，便是和他们结了不解之缘，好像结出时候有色界光阴天的天人飞行至世上，见地上有地肥，十分美味可口，便叫天人都来尝食，可惜时候便不能再飞行。后来地肥吃完了，便食地中所生的白骨，时候双脚就不能离地。
What is the reason? It is because by wearing animal skin and fur, we tie up conditions with them from which we cannot get free. It's like how this world began when gods from the light sound heaven in the form realm flew down to this world and discovered that the fat of the earth that grew in our fertile ground was delicious and returned to inform the gods that they should taste it. Too bad that after they ate it, they could no longer fly. When the fat of the earth was all consumed, they had to eat the 100 kinds of grains, and once they ate the grains, they couldn't use their legs to leave earth.
根据此说，则人是由天上来的，而不是从猴子化身的。如果说猴子能变化为人，但现在的猴子为何不会再变化为人呢？
According to this version, when people came from gods instead of evolving from monkeys, if monkeys can transform into people, why don't monkeys living today change into people?
白骨，粮，黍稷之总名，稻，耕糯之总名，蔬，豆类之总名。三谷各有20种，成为60种，再加蔬菜、青果各20种，总共100种。
The 100 kinds of grains. In the Liang dynasty, the general term for grains was millet. The general term for rice was glutinous rice, and the general term for beans was legumes. Each of these 3 grains was of 20 types, so that makes 60. Add to that vegetables and fruits, each of which was of 20 types, and that makes 100.
We're over 9 o'clock, so we're going to stop now.
Oops.
Everybody's going to mute your mic. And Jin Miaosher, are you here? Can you recite the transference? Jim Miaosher isn't here. Okay, I'll recite it. 愿以是功德，庄严佛净土，上报四重恩，杀济三途苦，饶有见闻者，悉发菩提心。今世一报身，同生极乐国。Bow 3 times to the Buddha. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. 3 times to the Master if you wish. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Thank you to the readers and to the listeners for your attention. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Thank you, Tsubasa.
Done.